Hi, I'm Unit1, Captain of the Flying Dutchman. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoy. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Unit1, Captain of the Flying Dutchman, and welcome on board of the Flying Dutchman. Today I gonna do a very requested build queue. It's today not a PvP build, again not a PvP build, but today I gonna discuss a very awesome epic, yes, an epic PvE build, including all the tier 5 and tier 6 Odysseys that are available at the moment. It's a very nice build. It works very well in PvE. Its survivability is good enough to do any mission that you would like to do, and even more important, it makes it fun. It's a build that you can use in PvP, but then you should really know what you are doing and make a very smart use of all the consoles that are available. It's very hard because in PvP players strike very hard. They have got, as they call it, spike damage, so it's not about a lot of DPS players that have like 200k DPS, and then you can actually survive a player like that, because usually, I say again, usually their survivability of those builds are really low. So basically, whenever you throw a rock at a 200k DPS build, they explode. And this is, as I called, the Flying Dutchman build. It's I'm gonna show you guys. It's a build with all the consoles, the Flying Dutchman tier 5, tier 6 build. I use it a lot when I do PvE because it's really fun to play with. It includes all the tier 5 and tier 6 Odyssey flagship consoles, and still the survivability is good enough to do any mission, like I said before. Well, I cannot show you exactly now the stats of it. I will do that later on, because currently whenever you're on ground, they don't show you the correct numbers as when you are in space. Okay, what I do use, I use Elite Fleet phaser beam arrays, because this has this proc of 2.5% chance of shield generation on a successful attack. I say again, even in space, or I'm sorry, on the bridge of the Flying Dutchman, you can see the numbers are not correct. So I'll just switch back to space right now, so I'll show you the correct space numbers. I use this elite fleet phasers arrays because they are giving you back, yeah, of course, your shields. Everybody knows when you're using a lot of universal consoles, as these consoles are called, you lose a lot of survivability. As you can see now, the resistance is at 40%, which is good enough. I say again, it's good enough for whenever you're doing PvEs. So in that way, it's enough, and you can of course pimp it up with the consoles. So basically, whenever you're using a console like this, you're increasing your all damage bonus resistance. So like I said, you need to use this set smart sometimes to get your survivability a little bit higher up whenever you need it. So to start from the beginning, I'm using the Elite Phaser beam arrays, like I told you before, to get my shields all the time up whenever I'm firing, because it's something you need when you've got this low survivability. In PvP I always try to get it at least at 55%, but therefore you need engineer consoles like RCS consoles, etc. But in this case it's not possible, so in that way I'm trying these. And of course, for this I use the Solonea deflector array and the engine and the shields, because of the proc. Whenever you're doing damage, there's a 2.5% chance to repair your hull 100% of the damage they dealt. So it's a very, very nice trade whenever you're dealing damage. Not only you're recovering your shields, but as well your hull. And I'm gonna show you later on, when I am at the point of showing the duty officers, and I'm using duty officers as well, to whenever I'm doing damage, to get heals as well. Of course, there's another awesome way, the worker bees. It's a really awesome Odyssey. It comes from the Odyssey console. It comes from the engineering Odyssey. I'll show you. Whenever you pop them, you get these little worker bees, and they're flying around your ship, or you can launch them for any other target. If you want to heal a friend, whatever, they come out and they heal you, and they heal you fast. But there's a but. They only heal you. There's one. When you're below 80%. So, and they heal you a lot, and you can pop them every 2 minutes. Normally, whenever you're using all the Odyssey consoles, you get a discount on your cooldowns for 25%. So that's really nice. So it says here, deploy 4 work bees, launches 4 level 61 work bees, and gives you every 337.5 per second for 10 seconds. And you have got a 48 seconds recharge time. So whenever you're critically low, you can pop them out, or you can pop them out anytime. They just start to repair whenever you get under the 80%, which is really, really awesome feature. It's a really good way when you're using as well engineering team, so you get fast hull heals. And then of course, the universal chevron separation. Yes, I can hear you thinking, what the fuck is that good for? Well, like I said, when you're using all the Odyssey consoles, you get a lot of beneficial stuff from it. This thing can get its own worker bees, so you double your worker bees with all the Odyssey consoles. And then what's really nice about it too is that it gets its own, if you've got one, its own antimatter spread. So it's basically not an Odyssey console, but when you put it on, your own chevron separation, so your own flying saucer, I will show you, get its own antimatter spread. What it does, it makes it confuse your enemies. So whenever you're popping that in a group, they start to confuse your enemies and they start to attack each other in the worst case, or in the best case for you, of course. And like I said, it got its own worker bees. So it's really awesome when you're surrounded by enemy and you're about to die. You pop this thing up, and whenever you select the target, almost spontaneously it uses antimatter spread and your enemies are confused. It's a very awesome when you're doing this because yeah, for example, your own antimatter spread is on cooldown, your flying saucer still has got its own, and it is separate from your cooldown. There's another cool feature about your saucer separation. When you're using all the Odyssey consoles, it gets its own gravity well 3, and that's really awesome because, as you can see, I'm not able to do that because I've got only lieutenant slot, lieutenant size station, so I'm not able to get a gravity well, not a gravity well 3. So it comes free with this thing. It can pop its own gravity well 3, and when you select the target, it automatically takes the same target. So in that way, it's really awesome. And then there's another huge beneficial thing about this, because when you got separated from your saucer, your turn rate increases dramatically. It's a lot better, and your weapon power goes up as well. So whenever you do the saucer separation, you get plus 10% impulse impulse speed, plus 8 turn rate, and normally in Odyssey it's got 3.1 turn rate, so you can imagine. Plus 10 weapon power, minus 10% shield power, minus 10% auxiliary power. But I'm using an aux to bat build, I will come to that later, so I don't really care about the auxiliary power in that way. Well, so in that way it's really nice, and like I told you before, when you're using the 3-piece set, you get your own gravity well and its own gravity well 3. Really nice console to use, and like I said, you can use it really smart when you're surrounded, you almost died. Pop it up, and people get confused and are dragged in the gravity well. But of course, don't wait too long for it. Well, that are the two consoles that I used, and also as well the Aquarius Escort. Yes, I'm not really impressed by this console, but if you're gonna use it in PvP, it's really smart to send it to your enemy. For example, if you're doing a 1v1, I will show you one later. If you send it to your target, there's a good possibility that he will use all his buffs, like his Alpha Strike, his Beam Overload, Cannon Rapid Speed, whatever. Put it on your Aquarius Escort, and then you're safe from all that shit. I must say that the Aquarius Escort has a low survivability and a low DPS. The DPS, I believe, is like 2 or 3k, so please, Cryptic, please do something about it, because I'm really sure you can do a lot better than this. I have got the ship myself, the Aquarius Escort. It's a really awesome ship, but this pet is really it's not worth it. It comes, I believe, with the Tactical Odyssey. So basically I'm using it for the cooldowns, and of course, like I said, to send it to somebody, and hopefully you put all his buffs on it. Usually they fall for it, especially when you're fighting with somebody who does PvP a lot. Okay, so that were the 3 tier 5 consoles. And now we're switching back to the tier 6 Odyssey consoles, which are good consoles. I must honestly admit that I'm not sure from which ships these come. And there's one that comes from not an Odyssey ship, but from an university ship. But I must tell you, it's not required to put it on. So I believe this one comes from the engineering, tier 6 Odyssey. What it actually does is it gives you 50% all damage bonus resistance, like I showed you before. If you look at the stats, it pimps it up for a couple of seconds, so that's really nice for 30 seconds. So whenever somebody puts his alpha strike on you, well, pop it up and then strike back. Really nice. It's a really nice console. It's only too bad that it's got a 2 minutes cooldown. What I would had hoped to see is that it had more passive abilities, like only 17.8 all damage resistance, and well, still good enough for me. Especially when you're using all these consoles. What's so nice about it is that yeah, you get a critical chance and a flight turn rate as well, so it pimps up a little bit as well the turn rate, which is really good because the Odyssey is a really slow turner. Yeah. And when you're receiving damage, while shield phasing is depleted, so when somebody's attacking you from the rear and you've got no more shields, there's this really awesome thing going on. Deadly response, stack up 3 times, to self 2.500 temporal hit points for over 10 seconds, and self 10% all damage for 10 seconds. If you are using that with your other flagship abilities like ship trades, etc., you can actually increase your damage quite a lot. I received with this build alone at least 50k DPS. I believe I hit the 60k DPS with this build. That's just really nice, really nice. So yeah, you can do a lot of fun things like I told you before. And there we've got, I believe this is the flagship tactical computer. It comes from the tactical advanced, this current ship, the tactical star cruiser. Like it gives you a plus 70.8 direct energy damage, so that's really nice as well. And it gives you not only you but your complete team firing cycle haste, plus turn rate, plus flight speed. Prevents the target from being affected by fleet weapons acceleration for 60 seconds. Plus 50% flight speed, strength for 15 seconds, plus a 50% turn rate for 15 seconds. 33% firing cycle haste for energy weapons for 50 seconds, plus 2 minutes recharge time. So when you're popping this up, you're basically, if you use this one as well, the tactical fleet tree, which is standard from the tactical officers, human like I am, you can really increase the power damage for your and speed from your for your enemies. So I'm sorry, for your fleet mates. So whenever you go for the same target and you pop these two and your alpha strike, and for example your fire on mine mark, you're doing a lot of damage to that one target, and you're helping your teammates out, doing more damage, etc. as well. So it's really awesome. Yeah, they say it's an command and control ship, huh? You can see you can pimp and help your crewmates, your fleet mates, your teammates with your abilities that comes from the Odyssey. You can increase their speed with 10%. Their survivability plus 12.5 all damage resistance. You can as well increase their shield with 10% nearby allies. They need to be within 10 kilometers, so keep that in mind. And of course, you can lower the weapon power cost. So a lot of cool things you can do with an Odyssey alone. If you use it smart in missions, whenever you need to fly away, keep in mind you can do this. So when you're transiting from one point to the other one, don't forget to use these 4 pieces. Give them speed, After that, give them survivability, and when you all need to attack somebody, give them the weapon system efficiency. Always help your teammates, because this ship, supposedly, you need to help your fleet mates or your teammates with this ship. That's where it's designed for. It's a flagship, so basically it's not only about doing it yourself, but helping your fleet mates as well. Then we come to the timeline stabilizer. It's a really cool feature. It's the range of it is really small, 3 kilometers. It reduces the speed, the turn and recharge time to your enemy, and it gives your own little bit more cycle firing haste. This one comes from the 2016 University ship. What is it called? Sorry, I'm still a Dutch guy. But you don't need to put it on. So if you don't got it, that ship, I believe it's, which ship was it? Which ship? Yeah, it's the Cranham Science Vessel Tier 6. It was an university ship. You could have got it from the events. If you got the event still slotted, there's still a possibility during the next university that you can still unlock that ship, but it's not required to have them all. I don't use it that much, but usually I forgot about this console, but still I'm using it still. Then we come to the other console. That's the really nice Enchanted Violet Dampening Wave. It's a really awesome wave. It gives you, especially if you would put some effort in power gens, etc. If you use it alone, you can do a lot of damage with this one. You can do a radiation damage and all energy damage, minus 80% all energy damage for 15 seconds. So whenever they're popping an alpha strike, it lasts only like 30 seconds, so you can decrease their damage for at least half of the time with the Enchanted Violet Dampening Wave. And you are actually debuffing your and disabling your enemy within 4 kilometers. So if you are surrounded, pop it. They get all this disables and increase of disables, etc. So it's a really awesome console as well. So when you're using all these consoles together, yeah, you get a lot for it back. So like I told you, you get more survivability, more damage, more critical chance, etc. So keep that in mind. Of course, my crit chance is not that high at the moment, 12.5%, and the crit severity is only 94.8. So if you prefer to do it the other way around and pimp it up a little, then you always can go for the vulnerability locators instead of the exploiters. So for that part, we have got we've used this or we discussed it all the Odyssey consoles, and then there is this universal anti-mother spread console. It's really nice if you put it on to placate your enemies, to confuse them. It comes from another ship. I'm currently not so sure from which ship it comes, but like I said, if you put it on, you've got two basically, because your own shaft separation comes with it. So really awesome. So now we have discussed all the energy weapons except for this one, the quantum phase beam array. It's a really good beam array, because you can drain their energy and you get yourself more energy. So that's really nice. And it got this nice bonus set when you're using the console and the quantum torpedo and the beam itself, because it gives you 50% more accuracy and it doubles the potency of quantum phase weapon shield drains, double protection of quantum phase high yield torpedo shield, etc. So it's a really good set. I like to use it on as well, because It increases your damage and your shield drain possibilities. And then of course I like to use an omnidirectional beam phase array, so you can hit much more when you've got your target in front. And in the aft I'm using the neutron torpedo launcher, which is in my opinion one of the best torpedo launchers in the game. Of course, what you can do as well, because you've got a really low turn rate at the moment, is going for the 180 degrees torpedo launchers that are in game. I did it for a long time, but only these torpedoes hit harder. And whenever I want to have a target in front, I'm using for example the evasive maneuvers. So that was all with the setup that I'm using right now, and a little bit how I used it. So keep in mind, whenever you're thinking it's bad, it's not that bad at all, because I can get at least 50k DPS with this build, and not using any other consoles except to get a little bit more DPS. And the set, the quantum phase set, it's a really nice set in my opinion, so that's why I'm using it. Of course you can do it yourself a little bit differently, but I like to do it in this way. It's only how can you use this set in space. I will show you a run right after this, and I will talk you through it. I'm gonna show you what I'm actually doing with it, so you have got an idea how to use the set and how to actually make the set beneficial. Then we come to the part of the duty. Well, let me go first to the trades. Okay, this trade is not currently the trade that I would use, of course. You can go for a superior elusive or the normal elusive. Like I said, it's a really epic build, so it costs a lot if you want it, but it works fine. And I'm gonna show you guys, it works really awesome. I really love to use it. There are many. You can go for the superior elusive, so you've got even more defense. That's really nice, of course. So that's what I use for the trade. Fluidic cocoon to get some penetration going on. Automatic rerouting, so you get shield restoreness. Really nice. The helmsman gives you plus 10% flight turn rate, and it reduces your cooldown for 10 seconds on your evasive maneuvers. I don't know what's going on here, but I will definitely go back to where I was, so stand by please. I was kicked out. Okay, so elusive to get less cooldown on your evasive maneuvers and get more turn rate, because the Odyssey really needs more turn rate. It really needs more turn rate if you don't help it out a little bit. And then we've got momentum to get even more turn rate while in battle and flight speed. Failsafe Scrambler, I'm not always using it, more in PvP. But there are many other cool traits that you can put in place instead for that ability. For example, intimidating strikes or kinetic precision, etc. So many good traits out there, but I like to do it to use it in PvP. And then you've got intense focus. It's really a good must. And then the best trait in game, the inspirational leader. It's a really good trait. It pops a lot, especially when you've got an auxiliary to berry build. Whenever you're using abilities, it comes there a lot too. It can stack even. It gives you 10% chance activating any bridge officer ability. Get plus 10 to most Starship skills for 15 seconds. May stack up 3 times. And it is. You see, it's a really good trait. Try to obtain it. It's a lot of ACs, but it's totally worth it. It's an awesome trait. Well, Starship traits, as you can see, I've got still the traits on my bug ship. So whatever you can use. I like to use the supercharged weapon. It comes from the Tactical Odyssey. 10% chance of damage for 20 seconds whenever you're using torpedo strikes. So it's really a good trait. I like to use it because I like to use torpedoes. If you're not going for torpedoes, I would definitely not put it on. But if you're going like me for torpedoes, this is really the way to go because it increases your energy damage even more than all the consoles already are doing. So, and then there's of course this one that doesn't work now as well because I'm not using beam overload. I'm going for fire at will because this is, like I said, a PvE build. In PvP you shouldn't do it. You should go for the emergency weapon cycle, especially when you're using well, you need to use it with this emergency powered weapons because then you get this ability activated. It gives you a weapon cycle. It's really nice. And I'm beyond the final frontier because I have really no idea where I am right now. The Enigma Nebula, but it's really Enigma where because I have no clue where I am. Weird. Funny. Well, so far the trades. Let's go to the stations, the bridge officer stations. I go for the emergency power to shields. Oh, I got a phone call. Stand by. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Always those annoying girlfriends. Okay, so basically I've got emergency power to shields and auxiliary power to the emergency battery one for the auxiliary build, which I'm gonna show you later. And the in case of emergency engineering T3. Beam fire at will, really powerful. But keep in mind, if there's something with feedback bills, you get right back through your shield. So keep it in mind. They've got tactical team, chemicide as well, very expensive but totally worth it because it increases your energy weapons and your projectile weapons. For example, your torpedo spread 3. Then of course the emergency power to weapons because it works together with your emergency weapon cycle. Because upon activation of emergency power to weapons, you gain a reduction in power cost and bonus to weapon firing speed for the duration of emergency power. So it's really nice. 1000 is going through it, but on emergency power to weapons, minus 50% weapon cycle cost for 30 seconds. So that's really nice, and plus 20% firing cycle haste of energy weapons for 30 seconds. So really good. Especially when you stack it with your weapon system efficiency, you've got only 25% weapon power cost. Awesome guys. Then we go for directed energy modulation, so you've got some penetration. Of course you can go for other ones, but I like this one. You could go for dampeners, whatever you would like, or the structural integrity collapse. But keep in mind that you need to have some power gens as well, or what is it? Yeah, power gens. And at the moment I don't have got anything in that, so it doesn't do a lot of damage now. So that's why I go for the directed energy modulation. And then my favorite, reverse shield polarity 3. Whenever you get a hit, it goes right through your shield. It's a lot of hits. So it's really nice when people are attacking you. You put a lot of effort back in your shields. So basically, when you got low health, etc., pop it up, and then yeah, you get a lot of back of shield health. Okay, I don't like the way where I am right now. So let me see where can I go? Press stock or something. And welcome back on board. Let's discuss the duty officers. Like I said before, I'm using the Solano set, which are helping you to get hues whenever you're doing damage, which is really nice, especially when you got low defenses like 40%. It's not really low, but in overall it's not that high as well. So like I said, using the solo node set and the elite phasers. Elite phasers for the shield hues and solo node set for hull hues. And then I'm using this Warfish specialist. Whenever I'm doing damage, there's 20% chance of 10% of the next 10 sources of outgoing damage apply as hull hues. So it's another small source of hull hues while I'm doing damage. Really nice, so keep on going firing. And then we've got the projectile weapons officers. I'm using 2 of them to decrease my torpedo cooldowns. So I've got a little bit more haste while I'm firing. Really good officer when you're using torpedoes. Always use them. And like I said, already told you a little bit about my auxiliary to battery builds. Reduces the time of all bridge officer abilities. Reduces when auxiliary to emergency battery is used. So really awesome. Use 3 of them, 2 times the ability, and you get a lot of cooldowns. So basically this is how I built my tier 5 tier 6 combined Odyssey build.
User entered your channel.
It works really well. Hello user, I'm working on a video so please don't think I'm crazy, I'm talking to myself. So really this build works really awesome in PvP and PvE. Of course it's not a build which you can use in PvP arenas, but if you're doing a 1v1 it works really well. I don't know who comes in the channel, who is talking?
It's me, and yes you are mad.
Hey Gavin, okay, well this is Gavin, my friend, and perhaps I can show you how good this build will work in PvP. Give me your X, Gavin.
Not even in game yet, mate. I've only just logged in.
Ah, okay. Well, I was making a video about the tier 5, tier 6 Odyssey with all the consoles. So I've made a build, put all the Odyssey consoles on it, and I'm showing actually what the beneficial of using all those consoles are, and that it really works well in PvE. Not as good in the arena, but in PvEs, like for example in STF or Battle of Corvette, it works really well. But then you need to know what you're doing, so you need some knowledge about the consoles themselves. So not just press anything, but know when to pop it. I will ask the chat comms channel for a demonstration. If somebody wants to 1v1 me. So how are you doing?
Yeah, doing alright.
I think I need to recruit some people actually in sector space. So tell me, Gavin, what do you think about the Odyssey consoles?
Yeah, they're alright. But a lot of things are going to get nerfed when they start rolling out new updates.
Yep, that's true. A lot of them got nerfed. So I as the organized PvP channel to 1v1 me. I'm trying now the chat comms and the zone chat, and hopefully somebody will bite and I can give you a nice demonstration of how to use the full Odyssey set in a battle. I hope somebody bites. Ah, nice. Somebody actually gonna bite. There's also as well a big possibility that I might lose, but it's not my PvP build. But I'm gonna show you that it might work in a 1v1. So it's all depending how I gonna use this set. Because if I'm using it smart, I would do good with this this build. Yes. Like I said, for example, the antimatter spread. It can give you a second chance, as well the chevron separation. You get another second antimatter spread. So I'm gonna try to talk through this as well. I need to concentrate, but I will tell you actually when I'm using what console. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, I come in here and I'm gonna launch the Aquarius Escort and I'm gonna send it to him. So hopefully he will use all his buffs on my Aquarius Escort, and then I've got a free play and protection from all his buffs for at least a couple of minutes. So that's what I did now. I launched my Aquarius Escort. I can send him some worker beasts as well, so his survivability is a little bit higher because that ship has got a low defense. So it's launched now, it's behind me, and whenever I see my target I'm gonna send it towards him. Hopefully he's not cloaked. I'm not really sure who I'm fighting now. I've got it in my friendly, so there he is. So there he goes. There, look, my Aquarius Escort's gonna go fall for it. There he goes, my Aquarius Escort. Go for it! And is he attacking me or... Yes, he's falling for it. Yes, he's sending everything to my Aquarius Escort. Really stupid. His Alpha Strike, Camel Side, etc. He's got feedback pulse. Okay, now it's my turn. I'm popping my defense. He's got pets. I disabled him, putting everything I've got on him. And there he goes. Oh no, he survived my attack. I need to watch out feedback pulse. There it is. I can ram him. Oh, I don't know what happened. There's some lag. Okay, like I said, I'm low health now. I can pop some workers. I need to watch out feedback pulse. Five more seconds. I'm trying to disable him. Getting back my Aquarius escort. Getting the saucer out so he can actually get his own antimatter spread and his gravity well. There he goes. And there he falls. And he's defeated. Like I said, he fell for my gravity well. And he was confused by the antimatter spread from my saucer separation. So basically it works. It works. You can use this set in PvP. He did exactly as I predicted. He used all his buffs on my Aquarius escort. When he was done with that, it was my turn to use all my buffs on him. When he almost got me, my Saffron separation gave me a second chance by using sending his worker bees towards me. So I had 2 times worker bees getting me back into the game, or to give me back my hull heals. Yeah, so like I said, if you know how to use this set, it works really well in PvP. Thank you for this demonstration. What's your name, Viral? And let's do a PvE now. So Gavin, are you up for something?
Not at the moment, mate. But I'll quickly go through my dailies.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do a CCA.
At the moment, I'm doing a failure, but I'm gonna do it though.
Okay. Okay, what are we gonna do now? One good STF to show that it works really well. What's the most difficult, or at least one that gives you a lot of damage? Give me an STF that's quite difficult. Because, yeah. Infected?
I suppose, yeah.
Okay, let's do an infected.
You can always do the arena.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the arena with this build, if you got 3 players pouncing on you, it will not work. 4 players, no. At least you've got a good team that can help you a little bit surviving, then you can have, but this build will not work in the arena. So a 1v1, like I said, will work. As well against some good PvPers, so this build will work in a 1v1 but not in an arena. I did try and I managed once in a capture and hold, but it was more luck because
user entered your channel.
Hey,
hello
KGM.
everyone.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Good. I'm working on a video about a build, an Odyssey build. I call the Flying Dutchman Tier 5 Tier 6 build. I'm showing off what it's able. And I'm gonna post it later on today, so you can watch it yourself and enjoy it.
Alright.
So the best way to do it now is do the saffron separation, so you've got more weapon power and more turn rate.
Could you post that one in chat?
I'm sorry?
Could you post that one in chat so I can understand what you're talking about, particular power or module?
Oh yes, if you watch the video it will all explain.
Okay.
I think the best way for me is just to go to another channel, but I'm not able because I'm right now in STF.
Yeah, I was having some issues with that last Borg mission. Or at least the last mission of the Borg storyline. The Diamond wanted to fly outside of the map and then became immune to all attacks.
Okay, Gavin, could you please drag me to another channel? Is that possible for you?
Can do.
Oh, you can't. Okay, no worries.
No, I'll do it now for you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So, as you can see, my health is a little bit low now. I use Work Beast to get more health. And when it's getting really low, of course I can choose to use the enchanted adaptive emergency systems, so I get more damage resistance. I'm gonna wait with the enchanted fleet weapon acceleration, because that one is good to use for the gate or the tactical cube that's coming in right now.
User left your channel.
Now I use the scramble, so all the Borg cubes are attacking each other.
No, it seems like it's a CS problem.
Okay. Well, thank you for trying.
No, no, there is ultra.
User left your channel.
I'll be right back. I have to take a bio break.
Okay, mate. And of course, if it's necessary, I can still pop my Nimbus Pirates stress balls to get more health if necessary. And to get more health, you can call back the separation, because I don't need more turn rate now. And hopefully somebody parts this so I can show you actually how much damage I did. Okay, now is a good time to pop the enchanted weapon acceleration. So everybody got an haste in the weapon cycling. And that was it. Hopefully somebody is gonna pop the numbers. And just wait for it. No, nobody parsed it, too bad. Wow, it was a really quick run. I show you survivability. Sometimes I get below 50%, but I could rage up fast again in my health thanks to the worker bees and to the enchanted adaptive emergency systems. Well, hopefully you see that this build is actually quite effective. It's fun to use. Like I said, it's really fun to use as well, because you've got all these small possibilities and opportunities to use. And like I said, if you're knowing what you're doing and when to use it, it's really fun to use. So that's my as I call it, my Flying Dutchman Tier 5/Tier 6 Odyssey build. It's really fun to use, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I showed you everything. It costs a lot to make this build, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It costs a lot of time, energy, etc. to get all the traits, etc. But when you've got this all together, you've got a really nice, awesome build that works awesome. thank you for watching. This was Unit 1 from the 10th Fleet, and hopefully see you back in game. Oh, small notice. This Wednesday I'm gonna leave for 6 weeks, so after that I'll gonna post some videos again. But for that time my channel's on hiatus. Have a good one. Bye.